Welcome to another breadcrumbs video. We are in the book of 1 Samuel, and we are reading, today's reading is chapters 9, 10, 11, and 12, and we are encountering the first king of Israel, King Saul, and these chapters kind of cover his story of how he becomes king. Interesting story with Saul. He meets Samuel. The Lord tells Samuel this is going to be the king. He gets anointed. And then God gives him an opportunity to deliver Israel from the Ammonites who are oppressing Israel there by their king, Nahash. And Saul musters all of Israel, 300,000 troops. They have a big battle. He strategically defeats Nahash, delivers the people of Israel. And so there's a great celebration. Saul's kind of recognized as king. And at that point, he had a few detractors before that. That's all put to rest, and Saul is made king here. And things are going to go downhill as we go forward. But one of the main points to make here, we also have Samuel's farewell address as he kind of signs off as the last judge, and there's this transition from Samuel as being the last of the judges into the time of the kings, and leadership is handed over to Saul. And the kings that will come after Saul. But it is interesting to note a couple things about the story. Number one, we have to remember that God giving Israel a king is a concession to their desire. He's warned them several times, actually, that this isn't going to go well, that this is out of their disobedience. God is making a concession to give them a king. Israel wants to be like the other nations and have a king. And God basically says this is going to cause problems, and of course it does in Israel's history. And God says to Samuel, they've rejected me as the Lord, as their king. And so this is a bit of a painful story on that front. Israel's moving forward with what they want to do despite what God is telling them to do. The other thing to note is just about Saul, although these chapters kind of contain some interesting characteristics about him. There is a character flaw that starts to emerge, and it's found in the story when he's being anointed as king. They go to look for him, and the Lord tells Samuel that Saul is hiding amongst the baggage. And we're going to see that there's this tragic flaw within Saul as a leader of insecurity. And he is going to struggle with that, and it's going to come out more and more, particularly in his relationship with David. And Saul is this is going to kind of be his Achilles heel as a man, as a king. And we're going to see more about that in future readings. But here we have it. Overall, a successful coronation of the king. Saul is anointed, wins a great battle in these chapters. But we can even see in these early days here, there's an issue where Saul feels insecure as a man. That's going to plague him as a king, unfortunately. So, but right now things are good. Israel's transition to the time of the kings, and we've said goodbye to Samuel in terms of his role as judge, although he's going to serve as a prophet to Saul, and he's going to serve as a prophet to David here in his elder years. But what a remarkable man Samuel is, and how God used him. And you're seeing also, even in Samuel's journey, his sons didn't operate with the same level of integrity that Samuel did. And so we can just see how generations, whether we're talking about the generation of Joshua to the generation after him that didn't walk in the ways of the Lord, we're seeing the same thing, that sometimes generations just abandon what they know better and what they've been taught. And unfortunately, that was true with Samuel and his sons. And now we're heading into the time of the kings, and it's an exciting time in the Bible. So I hope you guys are enjoying our read through 1 Samuel. We'll look forward to talking to you all real soon. God bless you.